Hello. This video today is going to go over some basics of starting a Mentimeter. Mentimeter is a pretty cool app that kind of allows you to get real-time input from your students. You can have live polls, quizzes, Q&As. They produce pretty cool word clouds as well that kind of can be used to spark some further discussion with your students. So I'm going to briefly go over just kind of getting started with Mentimeter, a few examples that you can actually utilize with your students, and maybe how to not only create a Mentimeter, but present it to your students. So the website is mentimeter.com, and I typically like to hit login with Google and get in with my district Google account. And this is the free version. So you are kind of limited to the number of mentees you can have at one time. Um, but just to give you an example, this is a Mentimeter that I used probably earlier this week as it pertains to ecosystems. And it's created a Wordle. So as students inputted answers, it adds to this Wordle here. And of course, the larger the word, the more students who have submitted a similar response. The smaller the word, the least number of students have submitted the response. So to get started with a Mentimeter, you could go to New Presentation, and usually you want to give it a title. So I'm just going to call this a test presentation. Hit Create, and you get a bunch of options on the side over here. So you definitely want to choose your type. If you want a quiz of some sort or a poll of some sort, I would go with multiple choice. A word cloud, you would go with, of course, word cloud. Open ended, this kind of allows for discussion, kind of like a little discussion board. Scales allows students to rate statements from low to high, the scaling sliding scale. Rankings, um, Q&A is kind of where you allow students the opportunity to ask you questions. And there's quizzes, there's answer types, and so you always want to decide on like what type you want to use. So for our example here, I think I'm going to go with um, say multiple choice, and our step is to write a question. So kind of a real quick test question. I'm just going to say like, what is your favorite color? Now, some things to kind of spruce up your presentation. You can go to customize and content to and to kind of change, like this white background is a little boring. So I usually like to go to the themes. Now you do have some free themes to work with. Um, so usually might want to choose a color scheme or a theme that makes it seem a little bit more visually appealing. You can add images. This is what this little image icon over here is for. So if I hit image, I can either drag and drop an image or check out an image library. So I might just like type in the word color, for instance. And maybe I want that image to be part of my slide. And you can make it, choose the size of that image, hit save. Now it's on my screen here. And then you can give options. So I might say blue is an option, red is an option, yellow is an option. You can add as many options as you want. And then you have a results layout. Like, how do you want the results to look? So do you want it to be a bar graph, a donut graph, a pie graph, or dots? I'm just going to go with the bar graph. And then you could go ahead and add more slides if you wanted to add further questions, which I'm going to do here. just to give you an idea, maybe what a word cloud would look like. What is your trying to think of a good question for a word cloud? Um, write one word that makes you happy. You could choose how many responses a student's input. So I just want one word, for instance. They do have a nice little profanity filter that prevents cursing from going on. Another example might be a rankings slide scale. And I might ask, do you agree or disagree? And I can say, assignment is easy. I understand syllabus. I know my grade. Just random kind of questions as examples. And again, you can choose spider charts and sliders. This is how it's presented to the kids. So what you can now do with the Mentimeter is you want to present it to the student. So I'm going to hit either share or present. Now I prefer the share function because I can just copy and paste this link into my Google Classroom. Or I can send students to menti.com and they will have to enter this code. In the case of this one, it's 434251. So let me show you what the student perspective would look like. If I copy and paste the link, or if I go to menti.com and input the code. So my code, of course, was 434251. Hit submit. 434251. 435251. What did I do wrong? You need the space. Okay. So this is what the student gets. It says, "What is your favorite color?" So I'm just going to kind of respond as if I were a student. Now you can see it says, "Waiting for the presenter to show the next slide." That's actually an option you do have when presenting. You can hit configure and you can do a presenter pace and an audience pace. If you want the students to respond with you at the same time, keep it as a presenter pace. If you prefer the audience to be able to move on their own, go ahead and put it as an audience pace. So you find that in the configure option. So student would again submit, I like the color blue. So they're able to move on to the next question. Now, if you wanted to make it a presenter space, you would have to go to the next answer. And I'm just going to kind of respond as if I was a student. So then you can kind of get an idea, all right, what these questions will look like from the student perspective and what these questions will look like eventually from your perspective. So I'm going to kind of just give you examples of each. So the thing that's really good about Menti is you can present the results to the student. So it says press S to hide image. I can kind of see the results of, somebody said they like the color red. And I can go to the results to my next one and see, what makes people happy. And I can go see my results on my students from this particular task. And it's pretty cool to share this with the students as well, allow them to see this because they can compare the results to others. Um, and that's kind of what Menti allows you to do. So this is kind of a brief tutorial on Mentimeter. Um, if you would like some further explanation, I am definitely available to help you out with that. I recommend you play with it, use it. It's pretty cool to use as a warm up or a checking for understanding, or even as an icebreaker activity. Um, but yeah, Mentimeter is a cool tool. I recommend you use it and try with your classes.